Hey, hope you're having a good day. Elan here, and today I'm joined by Veronica, and Veronica has completed my 8-week transformation program. So I'm really delighted to have a quick chat and see what you thought about the program, and hopefully some of your results will be inspiring for other people as well. But before we dive into it, Veronica, how are things with you today?
Really well, Elan. Thanks. Yeah, I was in college today, so yeah, um, information overload, but good in general.
Nice, good stuff. So yeah, I know like when you started the program, you had just a few months where you had a little bit of extra time where you could kind of prioritize your own self-care. And
Mm.
I was really excited to see just how much progress that you made in that time frame. And I think it'd be quite inspiring for other people to see, because obviously 8 weeks is quite a short space of time, but when you have the right support, I think you can really achieve a lot. So you're a perfect example of that. So
Awesome.
to dive into that,
Mhm.
first of all, I was wondering, why were you struggling? Why were you struggling specifically before you started the 8-week program?
Definitely stress would be a big one. I think I've been stressed for a long, long time. I've been self-employed for a long time and everything that comes with that. And the overwhelm of it, the closing of my business, it just over time, it just mounts up.
Yeah, so stress is obviously a massive thing and something that we addressed on the program for sure. And we
Mhm.
can delve into that a little bit deeper for sure. And next, I suppose I'd love to know what was it specifically then you were struggling with. So the stress was a big overarching thing, but then
Mhm.
how did that kind of impact you?
Definitely low energy. Sleep wasn't great. Sometimes okay, other overall not great. Could not lose weight. Definitely stuck. Yeah, just stuck. And I suppose really kind of focusing on what the scale was telling me, anyways. Honing in on that. And to me, if I didn't lose weight, that was I was failing in something. Something was going wrong.
Yeah, so hopefully now you'll never look at the scales the same way ever again or
Definitely.
worry about that too much in the future.
Mhm. Definitely.
Yeah, it's such a common thing though, isn't it? That like a lot of people just get hyper focused on using only the scales as their only measurement. And when that inevitably goes up or even just stays the same, it can be like
Mhm.
so off-putting.
And anytime I would start something, I would I would get very obsessed with weighing myself. I'd nearly do it daily. And I remember early on you saying that just ditch the scales, just don't use it. And I found that so refreshing and empowering because it took my focus off it. It
Mhm.
was no longer about that, became a byproduct of what I was doing in general.
Yeah,
So that was, yeah, that was really helpful.
good stuff. So would you say there was a bit of a mindset shift there of like how if you just focus on your sleep, your training, your food, your self-care, that your results will come as a result of that, like instead of being like focus on the scales first and then trying to get results from there.
100%. Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Good stuff. Yeah, it's I think it's such a big thing to address because how many other programs out there are there where it's literally all about the scales, Slim and World, Weight Watchers,
Yeah.
all pretty big popular ones. It's all like centered around the
Yeah.
weekly weigh-in or something like that. And it's just not good for your headspace and
No, it's really not.
sustainability. Cool. So something that I'd love to get people's honest feedback on is what were you skeptical of before investing in the program?
Time. I came across other ones that I had kind of delved into a little bit, and I got like a taster program in it, and I felt like I was having to try and fit into the program rather than it fitting in with my life. And I knew pretty quickly it wasn't going to be sustainable. There's no way I could keep it up. There's no way, and very, very expensive. But that's just one part of it. But I suppose I was kind of skeptical of, is this going to be realistic for me? Am I going to have to be working out for hours? Am I going to have to, put so much of myself into it. Um, Already being busy, would I have time? The other kind of side of it is always that guilt of, should I be spending money on myself? That was probably my biggest hang up.
Yeah.
There's always a bill to pay, always something to be bought. So it's putting that guilt aside of taking that step and going, yes, I do need to invest in myself, and all the positives that come with that.
Hmm. Wow. So time was the big one, and then also the underlying belief of, am I worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah, super powerful stuff. And the answer to that, of course, is you are worth it.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So that's really cool. So then when you did have that realization that you were worth it and that obviously the program that we did wasn't going to take up a whole lot of time, what do you feel like was your first kind of big breakthrough from it?
Um, I think a realization of like, my family is my world. I, you know, I they're my reason for everything. And I suppose I was using so much energy in thinking that I was doing it in a good way and always trying to be there and do everything. And I realized that I, for me to be there for them in the best way possible was through self care. So me being at my best was at my best for them as well. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you know, that having that time and space in the day where I prioritize my health, my well being, um, is the best way for them. And then hopefully lead by example for them too, so that they can, put some things into practice as well. So I think that was huge for me. And the scales is really big. When I realized that I'm actually not doing this for weight loss, that's a byproduct of being healthy. That wasn't my sole focus. At the start, it was. I thought, lose the weight, get the exercise in,
Hmm.
and changing my mindset towards it, that was no longer my main goal, um, but just, yeah, being a byproduct.
Yeah, so your family was a big reason why, for you that we identified very quickly of that's something that you can always come back to whenever you have a difficult day or week where you're
Mm.
struggling to stay on track or motivate yourself. You can always go back to those reasons why that you mentioned, and they're your motivation. You don't need to rely on feeling motivated to get you going, but you have them there
Mm.
to give you that bit of extra push to really prioritize yourself, which is super important because
Mm.
how many people fall into that trap of putting everyone else first, everything else first, and then they're always bottom of the list,
Yeah,
so that's really cool that you're able to flip that around and realize that you're the most important thing. And it's like when we take care of ourselves, then we can take care of other people. So that's really cool.
absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so most importantly, like, do you feel like the approach that we've taken, with your sleep and food and training and everything that we've been doing, it's something that is sustainable in the long run?
Definitely. I mean, for I have we're going to college. I just started last month full time. So that's a whole new routine for me, a whole set of different responsibilities, different things I need to do. But now there are things that I include in my day that are non-negotiables, that were easy for me to put in. I don't know. I suppose with other programs I've looked at, and it was just so time consuming, and didn't take into account my schedule, my lifestyle. So I feel with the program, it's like, okay, well, where are you at and how can we tailor it to you? Which was huge for me. It made it realistic. It made it in a way like I'm enjoying exercising. I'm not spending hours and hours doing it, but I have that time set aside now, 3 days a week, first thing in the morning, done and dusted, and then I go about my day. So
Mhm.
that has been huge for me to be able to continue with the program, just, keep going with it.
Nice. And the training sessions that you're doing, generally, how long are they?
Half an hour, sometimes the evening ones 45 minutes. I've been using the videos now as well. They're fantastic to be able
Mhm.
to keep it up as well. But I found, when we were doing the testing and the one-to-ones that were, it was just so realistic with time. I'm like, half an hour is nothing. It's by the and being able to do from home is brilliant. I do have a gym membership, and at the moment with my schedule, it's just really, really hard to get there. Whereas in the morning, grab my weights, go into the room, and just start and just get it done, has been just so helpful, and means that realistically I can carry on with that. When I'm on holidays from college, yes, I'll have time and I can go to the gym and it'll be easier. But right now, when it's a bit tighter, this is what works for me. So having those kind of being, the guidance in implementing all them has made it really great.
Nice. Good stuff. So 30 minutes, 3 times a week. It's literally
Yeah.
90 minutes across the entire week, which is not a lot considering a full week is 168 hours and an hour and a half is about like 1 or 1.5% of that, So it's like
And
quite.
even the power of that an hour and a half, like um, we'll go on to goals, but or what I've done, but just realizing that in that time frame, that it can have such an effect
Mhm.
has been great, because I've done hours, I've done the whole thing and not had the same effects or results. So yeah, that's been amazing.
Yeah, it'd be good to go into that. So, like, what have been some of the specific results that you've seen with either your clothes, your strength, your energy, everything across the board?
Well, I've dropped a dress size, so that's been fantastic. I put on a dress I haven't tried on, I think, since May, but I just wasn't comfortable wearing, and I'm now comfortable with. So that's huge. Um, Definitely, my strength has gone up in doing the testing. I can't remember the specifics now, but every test that we've done on the muscles group, it has gone up every time, and that feels really empowering. Because sometimes when you're doing it yourself, you might not push yourself as far and go, oh, well, I'll just stop here. But when you're being tested, it's like, no, I'm going for it. And just feeling stronger. I'm sleeping better, definitely. And I have more energy.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm just not as wiped in the evenings, which is really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really amazing. It's such a good feeling when your strength goes up. And you've seen the way that we do it. Obviously, for anyone else that hasn't been a part of the program, it's like every 4 weeks we'll go through every single muscle group. So every time we retested, whether it was in a class or one-to-one, we'd go through generally like 5 to maybe 8 different exercises. So you have your full list of different movements for each muscle group, and obviously you've seen a lot of quick progress, which is really
Yeah.
cool. And the amazing thing about it is you've only uncovered a very small amount of how strong you can get. I think I mentioned that to you before, if you have 2 months of really consistent training and you've made good progress in that time frame, imagine what you can do in 1 year, 3 years, or
Mm.
5 years, because it takes about 5 years of consistency, like let's say training at least twice a week, to really unlock how strong you can get, where your fullest potential is. So you've only uncovered the smallest
Yeah.
of that so far.
Yeah.
So that's
Exciting.
cool. Nice. So just to finish up then, who would you recommend the 8 week program for?
Anyone lacking a bit of direction, who needs some accountability maybe to get going as well, and support. I I knew how to work out, but not in the most effective way. I knew how to eat healthy, but couldn't tie it together. There was elements missing. So if someone needs it pieced together with someone who knows what they're talking about and who is there to help you, is really, really lovely. And put aside the guilt, invest in yourself. And I'm now listening to podcasts and different books, and it's all, sounds a bit cliche, but do invest in yourself and put the guilt aside, because it is the best money you will ever spend on yourself. And to be the best version of yourself, for your family, for loved ones, doesn't really matter who, whatever that means to you. But yeah, go for it.
Nice. That's amazing. We'll end on that note. So, and yeah, really appreciate you sharing everything, and hopefully that'll be inspiring for whoever, watches it. And yeah, I'll end the recording here, but we can have a quick chat after. Nice one. Thanks, Mel.